I'm missing. You got that showstop smile. You got my mind dreaming every day. You got that something brand new. You got me thinking.
This was our first stop for gyutan, Japanese-style grilled beef tongue, and I went for the premium thick-cut set. It came with barley rice, oxtail soup, pickles, chili miso paste, and grated mountain yam on the side, which is meant to be mixed into the rice before eating. But even though they were using the root of the tongue, the more tender, premium cut for this set, there were still quite a few sinewy parts, making the bite chewier than I expected. The seasoning also leaned a little too salty even when paired with rice. Even though the root is the more tender part, it's still a heavily worked muscle, so it's often seasoned more robustly before grilling to bring out its umami, which is why it can taste a little intense on its own. At the second restaurant, I ordered the premium cut again, and this time, the chef really nailed the trim and grill. The gyutan was tender with a nice springy bite and lightly crisp on the outside. Still slightly salty, but this time it worked beautifully with the rice. I noticed the soy sauce on the table and wondered if the gyutan was already seasoned, what was it for? Then the Japanese guy next to me added some into his tororo, the grated mountain yam, and I had a little so desu ne moment. I followed along, mixed in a bit of soy sauce and poured it over the rice, and it instantly lifted the flavor, balancing out the richness and intensity of the meat. From Sendai, I made my way back to Tokyo for a very special night. Thanks to my dear friend, I was going to see Lady Gaga. Her Japan Dome shows were completely sold out, and with crowds all around, you could already feel how big the night was going to be. A little tired, but so ready for the night.
To get back to a place of safety and peace and accountability. Good people shouldn't have to fight so hard and risk their lives for well-being and respect.
After an incredible Lady Gaga night in Tokyo, we somehow managed to wake up the very next morning and fly straight to Sapporo for a 3-day skiing trip, with a few extra days in Hokkaido, of course. Before all the food begins, let's start with the snow. After our first day of skiing, we came to a Japanese restaurant with private dining rooms for dinner. The menu was quite extensive, and orders were placed through a tablet at the table with multiple language options available, which made everything easy and convenient. The food itself was okay, though not especially memorable. The fish didn't taste quite as fresh as I'd hoped, so I probably wouldn't come back purely for the food. And if you see me closing my eyes while eating, nope, I wasn't having a deep food moment. I was just absolutely naked from skiing all day. One thing to note, this is an indoor smoking restaurant, so if you're sensitive to cigarette smoke, it might not be the most comfortable place to dine. And of course, when you're in Hokkaido, Jingisukan has to happen. It's more than just grilled lamb. It's part of the local culture here. The meat sizzles away on a dome-shaped grill. The juices drip down into the vegetables, and the whole table fills with this smoky, savory aroma. If you're into lamb, especially fresh, clean-tasting lamb rather than heavily marinated meat, you might enjoy this one. We made a little stop at Sapporo Suwa Shrine. It's not the loudest or most famous spot in the city, but that's exactly why I like it. This shrine has been part of Sapporo since the Meiji era, quietly watching over the local community for more than a century. People come here to pray for good relationships, family blessings, and peaceful new beginnings. The shrine also had so many omamori to choose from, beautifully designed little protective charms, each carrying a different blessings, from health and safe travels to love, luck, and fresh new beginnings. We went to this well-known crab restaurant near Sapporo Station for lunch today, since it's usually difficult to get a table at night. They have a few branches across Japan and come highly recommended. That's why we decided to give it a try. That said, while the crab was fresh, I do think there are stronger options in Sapporo when it comes to value and service. The Sapporo Snow Festival was one of those things I'd heard about, so maybe I built it up a little in my head. I think I pictured something with very intricate, crystal-like ice sculptures, beautiful lighting, and that classic winter festival magic. But the actual festival felt more centered around large snow sculptures, outdoor displays, and a lively seasonal atmosphere. There were lights, snow sculptures, and a pleasant festive mood. But honestly, it wasn't quite what I imagined. For me personally, I wouldn't travel all the way to Sapporo just for this alone. But if you're already here during the festival or you're into snow sculptures and winter events, then yes, it's worth popping by and seeing it for yourself. Today is my friend's birthday, another beautiful day to celebrate together. We chose a self-grilled yakitori spot with a wide variety of meats and vegetables to cook right at the table. There was so much to choose from, and since the portions were small, we ended up ordering almost everything, trying a little of each and leaving very full. As someone who's always excited by fresh seafood, Hakodate felt like the perfect next stop. With its morning markets, harbor views, and famously fresh catches, it already sounded like my kind of city. So with our bags packed and Sapporo behind us, we made our way south towards Hakodate. The restaurant is set in a lovely old building. The service was excellent, attentive, and polite. We had a private room, which made the meal feel relaxed and unhurried. We ordered the A5 sirloin and A3 sirloin. They also offer lunch sets, which are available during the day if you are looking for a set option. I heard this is the sukiyaki spot here in Hakodate. However, we couldn't get reservation ahead of time, so we showed up right when the doors opened, and luck's on our side. I've tried quite a few sukiyaki restaurants, but I still haven't found the one that truly feels right to me. This one didn't quite become that place either. It was good, just not the one I'm searching for, so I'm still looking. If you know a sukiyaki restaurant you truly love, please let me know. I'd be very happy to try it. The weather is so good today. Hakodate feels much more serene, more relaxed and quiet as compared to Sapporo. Walking around Hokkaido in winter is actually quite tough because I'm constantly worried about sleeping. So my eyes are basically glued to the ground. Tonight, a few dishes stayed with me. The salmon sashimi, the grilled atka mackerel, the butter grilled scallop. The oysters surprised me most. Some of the other dishes weren't quite to my taste. But outside, Hakodate was bitterly cold that night, and that alone made the evening memorable. Here we are at Hakodate Morning Market. There are restaurants around where you can enjoy fresh seafood bowls, grilled seafood, and other local dishes. You also find stalls selling dried seafood, fruits, and all kinds of local produce. The freshly grilled squid was honestly delicious as a quick bite. There were also different kinds of seafood you could choose from. And the corn, so sweet, juicy, and crisp. Very dangerous if you're the type who says, I'll just have one bite. One small tip, if you're mindful about prices, it's worth comparing a few stalls before buying because we noticed the prices weren't always the same. And if you're buying food to take away or bring home, remember to check how it should be stored and how long it can last so it doesn't spoil before you get to enjoy it. I'm heading out for a seafood don for my lunch today, and I already know exactly what I'm ordering. Don is short for donburi, which simply refers to a Japanese rice bowl topped with different ingredients, and we're having a premium sea urchin don and the 3 great crab don today. By the time we visited, only the premium uni don was made with sea urchin sourced from Hokkaido, while the rest were imported. You can also check out their online menu. It's available in a few different languages. They also offer seasonal menu items such as the 5 kinds of premium sea urchin bowl, available only from April to September. I'm glad they offer both vinegared rice and regular white rice, and I went with my favorite sushi rice. Itadakimasu. The uni was incredibly creamy and naturally sweet, with a clean finish and no unpleasant aftertaste. Together with the rice, it felt rich but still nicely balanced. Arigatou gozaimasu. As for the 3 great crab don, which included king crab, snow crab, and hairy crab, the king crab leg meat and shredded hairy crab meat were really enjoyable in both texture and sweetness, while the snow crab leaned slightly on the drier side this time. Good morning, guys! I've been really looking forward to this breakfast. Thankfully, my friend in Japan helped us secure a reservation as there was already a long queue in the morning. And yes, uni don again. The staff were lovely and recommended a few items for the day, so I ordered the tuna belly sashimi and Hakodate wild flounder sashimi. The otoro just melted in the mouth, and the wild flounder had a nice clean bite with a subtle snap. Although I personally prefer it with sushi rice rather than plain warm rice, as the light acidity of the vinegared rice really enhances its sweetness and adds more depth to the flavor. Even so, the uni here was so rich and packed with umami that I still thoroughly enjoyed it. And the add-on combo was a great choice too. Such a satisfying breakfast before heading to the red brick warehouse for a stroll. You can enjoy these 3 with just 1,750 yen. This is the sea urchin omelette, the side dish, and this one, the gratin. After breakfast, we made our way to the Kanamori red brick warehouse, right by Hakodate's Bay Area. This place is not exactly a shopping mall and not just a photo spot either. It's a historic red brick warehouse complex filled with shops, cafes, restaurants, and little stores to browse through. The whole area has that charming old port feeling, with the brick buildings, the waterfront, and plenty of corners where you naturally want to stop, walk around, and take photos. The scenery is beautiful, but the wind can be absolutely intense.
这风也太大了。
Once we were done strolling around, lucky Pierrot was just nearby, so we went from Red Brick Warehouse View straight into Hakodate's famous local burger, the perfect little stop after exploring the Bay Area.
小丑汉堡。
Japanese drugstores aren't just pharmacies. They are full of small discoveries. You'll find everyday essentials, skincare and cosmetics, vitamins and beauty drinks, remedies for colds, sore throats, and stomach issues. Pretty much anything you might need. Travel-size items and even sweet and savory treats. It's like a pharmacy, a beauty boutique, and a mini supermarket all organized under one roof. If you're coming in winter, it's actually a good idea to get ice cleats, those little anti-slip grips that go under your shoes. I saw them in convenience stores and pharmacies, and after seeing quite a few people slip and fall hard, I really felt for them. It looked painful, and it was a reminder to take icy roads seriously. And that was pretty much our final taste of Hokkaido winter. After a few snowy, windy days up north, it was time to head back to Tokyo. Not quite the end yet, but the final little chapter of this trip. We ordered a few dishes here, and overall, it was okay. Some dishes worked better for me than others. We tried the mozunabe, a Japanese offal hot pot usually made with beef or pork offal, cabbage, garlic chives, tofu, and a savory broth. The version we had here wasn't quite to my taste. The char-grilled Japanese chicken had quite a strong charred aroma, and some parts tasted a little bitter, so I think it may have been slightly overdone. The chicken skin skewers were more enjoyable, savory, slightly crisp, and nice as a small bite. So overall, it was a casual dinner, but not really a standout meal for me. Back in Tokyo, we stopped by Kanda Myojin, one of the city's historic shrines, with almost 1300 years of history. People come here to pray for good fortune, business, relationships, and protection. And because it's so close to Akihabara, you get this really interesting mix of old and new Tokyo. A traditional shrine sitting quietly next to one of the city's busiest and brightest districts. What I love about a good unagi meal is how much technique goes into every part of it. The eel has to be grilled carefully, the sauce needs balance, and the rice has to hold everything together without feeling too heavy. Served with soup, tamagoyaki, and a few side dishes, the meal feels complete and well thought out. The unagi is still the centerpiece, but everything around it adds to the experience. The restaurant itself has a calm, comfortable atmosphere. Not overly formal, but still organized and well run. It feels easy to settle in, take your time, and enjoy the meal properly. The glaze on the grilled unagi is spot on, not overly salty or sweet. It's really well balanced and every bite is satisfying. I'm happy. That wraps up my first Japan trip of 2026. Thank you for being here. Until next time, take care and stay in your bliss.